Hi, it's Kane Hodder, Jason from Friday the 13th. You're watching Slash and Cast. Keep watching, or I'll kill you and your whole family.
What's going on, horror fans? Welcome to another episode of Slash and Cast. My name is Riley, that is Nick, and we're at the opening of 2017 here, so naturally there is a lot of news. And, everybody in horror likes to have a bunch of updates going into the new year, and Friday the 13th, the game, is no excuse for that. And, of course, on Friday the 13th, which was January 13th this year, of course, they decided to drop a few updates, and we've been waiting to see some new concept art of the Part 8 and Part 9 Jason and the Tom Savini Jason that we know are in the games. We didn't get all of those, but we did finally get a look at the Part 8 Jason concept art. Now, this is not in-game, but this does look fantastic regardless.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks perfect. To like every step of the, even the background makes me giddy. Like, look at the boat from the opening scene of Part 8. It all looks fantastic. The water looks great. That's what got me. The water looks great. Then we got that slimy Part 8 look, which I thought was going to be tough for them to do in-game, so I'm a little nervous what it's going to look like in-game, because that slime look is that's a little higher up in the graphics.
Yeah.
But regardless, fantastic start and great first look at it. I like this more in the Part 6 concept art we got in the graveyard. So, but their news did not end there for Friday the 13th, the game on Friday the 13th. We finally get a look at the Part 6 Jason in-game. And Part 6 Jason, of course, we get a look at throwing knives. And that's what he's doing here. You get this, a little bit of it zooms in and get a little close-up of the Jason's hand, and you throw him.
It looks like you got a nice crosshair there. But of course, I think there are physics in the game, so you can't it's not going to go straight. I think it arcs, which is good.
Yeah. He does manage to hit one in this gameplay, and it doesn't like knock him down or anything. It just kind of, it definitely slows them down a lot.
I don't know if it gets rid of their stamina or if it does slow them down or what.
Yeah, and I'm curious of how effective it is on different counselors, of course.
Because the jock may have more muscle, it might not affect him as much compared to a nerd or anybody else.
Right. But I mean, it's really cool. And of course, Part 6 is going to be one of the few limited to doing this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's really. I wish I would have had it in the beta. I really do. It would have been a lot easier to kill the
Vanessa.
The Vanessa, yeah. Another thing was cool. Instead of the main weapon being like a machete or anything, the main weapon was a fence post, and that's awesome because the fence post was in the opening scene. It's kind of really iconic for the Part 6 Jason. And usually when people are trying to cosplay, this is the kind of type of thing they make. You get a little bit of a better look at it here, sort of. What's also interesting, though, you can clearly see he's holding machete there on his hip. Now, can he pull that at any time is a question. There's no telling.
I doubt it.
I do too.
I think it's just looks.
Right. That was just to stay in detail. It's also interesting, since we're talking about like the look of Part 6, this has the bullet hole version, so that comes at the end of the film. So it's really just a combination of beginning Jason and the end Jason. But it really does look great. And Part 6, to me, looks like the most fun to play with right now, obviously because you can throw stuff. But yeah, dude, Friday the 13th game, keep bringing it. Get us more concept art, please, because I really want to see Tom Savini's new Jason.
Yeah.
I've been waiting. That's like one of the biggest announcements I heard, that he had his own original one.
I wonder if we're going to be able to see it, because, the thought release date is February. We're getting to the end of January. Are we going to get that leaked, or are we just going to say, here's the game, here's the rest of the stuff that you haven't seen yet?
That's a good question.
And maybe it's not ready. Maybe we won't get it on release, which would suck.
Yeah. I don't know. Based on like the concept art and the way they're releasing it, it seems to me that the game won't be out in February. Either the game will be out in February, or the game won't be complete in February.
Right.
But it was Tom Savini that gave us that quote that said, "It's too bad they had to push it back to February." Regardless, I can wait. Just keep it going. Barely. But I can wait for a complete game. That's fine.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and move on to some more Friday the 13th news. And this one is about the movie that we're supposed to come out in October of this year. Now, we talked about casting, okay? We didn't know where it was going to go. But the biggest thing we wanted was to see Kane Hodder casted in this film, okay? We said either Derek Mears or Kane Hodder. And Now, of course, we still don't know. All right, we nothing official. All right, but Kane came to his Facebook. All right, and on Friday 13th, of course.
Yeah.
And he talked about, I got this movie coming out.
Death House. And the game.
Yeah.
And he was serious. He's like, oh, yeah, I got this coming up. Happy Friday 13th. Da, 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 da. And then you get a little smile.
Right. Okay, just take a look for yourself because Kane doesn't get giddy. And he gets a little giddy here. Here, take a look for yourself. Let's check out this video from Kane Hodder's Facebook page.
Hey guys, Kane here. Just wanted to wish everybody a happy Friday the 13th and hope it's great for you. Very exciting year coming up for me. Got all kinds of fun things going on. The video game's coming out soon. Got a movie called Death House with all my buddies in it. It's going to be great. The documentary about my life is coming out as well, called To Hell and Back. And a couple really good surprises for you guys. I think you'll be very happy when you hear about them. So once again, happy Friday the 13th. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Well, wait a minute. On second thought, there's probably nothing I wouldn't do, so do whatever you want, but enjoy it.
There's your message from Kane Hodder. He doesn't like really talking on camera as it is, but he doesn't really get giddy like that. So obviously he's excited, and obviously he knows his fans are going to be excited.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to be the one to spread rumors that, Kane's coming back as Jason. But we knew that there was a good chance, right? And I don't know what else he could be talking about, right? To make him that happy, I don't think there's any other role other than maybe Hatchet 4. That's the only other thing I could really see Kane getting excited for. Regardless, man, I'm glad that he's excited. I'm glad that we'll be excited, and whatever it is, we're gonna check it out for sure. But praying it's Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
God. Praying it's Friday the 13th. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to another franchise sequel that we've discussed so many times, it hurts. But we're coming back to Jeepers Creepers 3, and we're discussing a news story that came out. It was on Horror Domain. It's on a whole bunch of horror sites, including like iHorror. And it basically said that the BD offices, the production company behind Jeepers Creepers 3, moved from Vancouver to Louisiana. So they're moving on with production, and they're supposed to move forward with shooting Jeepers Creepers 3.
All right. That's some good news, right?
Interesting. That's ridiculous. I don't even want to... Let's just go back. This was 2 or 3 years ago, AMC discussed what happened with Jeepers Creepers 3. And, let's just take a look at that clip and what AMC really had to say about Jeepers Creepers 3.
As a matter of fact... They're not making a Jeepers Creepers 3. They have made a Jeepers Creepers 3. It's done. It's finished. It's called Jeepers Creepers 3 Cathedral. And it's got the big sister from the first one back, the girl who survives when Justin Long dies. Spoiler. And I believe like the father-son duo from the second Jeepers Creepers, and now it's like 20 years later, and they're going to hunt whatever. It hasn't been able to land a distributor. So I believe Jeepers Creepers 3 is going to be a direct-to-home video thing.
Jeepers Creepers 3. There you go. From AMC, the official AMC movie theaters. That's their YouTube channel.
Yeah, that they do a daily podcast.
Yes, from AMC News Talk.
This was from what, 2013?
Yeah, this is a while ago. This movie's been done for several years. It hasn't been able to land a distributor. And that's really all there is to it. Jeepers Creepers 3, even the new synopses that are coming out about it are just ridiculous. We knew that it was the old sister from the first one and the father-son duo from the second one.
We did hear that they may have dropped the cathedral name from the title.
Right.
But who knows, really? Only they know. There's a lot of... It's looking like it's going to come out this year, whether it be to a theater or just a direct-to-video.
Right. That's the talk. It's supposed to be officially confirmed release date 2017, not just shooting in 2017.
Right.
But just stop listening to those things because it's done. All right. All right. We're gonna go ahead and move on to our next topic, which is an interesting one because we don't really find too much interest in this one. But the Purge. Now we weren't sure where the future of the franchise was gonna go. Okay. But it seems the writer-director James DeMonico is pushing for another sequel, okay? James DeMonico is like heavy behind the Purge, and then the election year was really successful. It really was, and it seems to be the best of the series. So obviously, it making money, being successful with critics as well. It's like, all right, let's do another one. And but Frank Grillo, who plays the main character, of course, within the second and the third one, may not return. Now that could be a huge fall for the Purge, but instead, the talk of it. If Frank Grillo will not come back, the talk is to go ahead and make it a possible prequel or origin story, which is ridiculous. I don't know. This is one of those things you just don't have to explain. Right. Why do we need to know why the government made a decision to have a purge?
I mean, in the first Purge, they say, isn't it overpopulation? Kind of.
It's really just, the point of the Purge is to stop crime throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah.
If you have one day where you can let it all loose, why would you don't have to do it the rest of the year?
And that's ridiculous. But I mean, it's a pretty successful series. They've got 3 movies, and a fourth one confirmed because they all made money. You don't have to explain everything.
It's just not it's not a movie that could really, I don't think, will do well in any type of origin story. Especially if Frank Grillo doesn't come back, because I didn't like the first one, but I didn't mind the second and the third one. And I think that was because of Frank Grillo's character in general. So take him away, I think you're in trouble. But they knew that as well. So more discussion came forward. That was, let's do a TV series of The Purge. Man, I don't know.
Really?
I don't know how it could really work. Now, I see, the thing is you have to cover one day, right? The Purge is one day. Now, either you can do several years, you can just keep a different year every time per episode, or per season, I guess, you cover one night. But
I've seen, I think there was a show called 48 Hours in the 90s or 2000s, I'm not 100% sure. But it was a series that a whole season, 22 episodes, I believe, or 13, whatever, took place in 48 hours. Each episode was an hour, counting down to, I believe it was the end of the world.
Right.
And it worked out enough where it made it through, I believe. I don't think it got picked up for another season. I don't know how it could have gotten picked up for another season. But yeah, they could just do it like that, where each episode is either an hour or just a certain part of the 12 hour, right?
It's technically, it'd be 12 hours, right?
Yeah.
It's through the night.
Yeah, so that just it's not a winning formula.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be tough to do, but I would have more hope for a TV series, I think, than an origin story.
Right.
Because, I don't know.
Now, if it was like a Netflix series and maybe it was a 6-episode series or season for 6 episodes like they have done with these other Netflix original series,
right,
that might work. But I don't see that happening. Right.
And then, even budget-wise, I think what the Purge 1 failed to me because of lack of budget.
Yeah.
We got stuck inside a house. The Purge, you have so many opportunities to, go around the city and see shit get destroyed. Instead, we were stuck in a house, I don't know, just kind of boring. So I think the TV series might have that issue as well. But you know what? Speaking of TV series, let's go ahead and move on to one that we know works, and that is American Horror Story. All right, American Horror Story is going strong, man. It's in season 6 right now, and it has been extremely successful, remains successful. The thing is, though, they got confirmed for 3 more seasons already. Locked. Good to go. Up to season 9. Now, that's ballsy to me. I think these guys on FX are fantastic writers, clearly know what they're doing. So, like we were saying, there's a good chance they already have all of those seasons written out.
Right. And they've proven that this is what it's going to go. And it is proven that it is successful. It is pulling in a lot of viewers. It's got a really big following. It's a good show.
Right. But I mean, okay, FX production CEO John Landgraf had this to say about it, though. Each new chapter is a cultural event, beloved for every new twist in imagery, style, cast, and plot. We are thrilled that Ryan Murphy, Brad Fulchuk, and the entire creative team will continue to deliver the groundbreaking, celebrated American Horror Story for years to come. It seems like they know where they're going.
Yeah.
Right? But at this time, there are no further details to report about American Horror Story. They've always been very secretive about what they're doing. So I'm actually impressed that they admitted that they're locked into 3 more seasons. But I mean, fans are obviously going to be happy about it.
I mean, a couple shows that come to mind when I think of them, stretching out with confirmed seasons years in advance. Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's got like three more years or 2 more years confirmed as of this point. Another one being like The Simpsons, of course. Like, that it's going to be watched, and it's a good story. It's proven itself. And I think that's why this works. Does that mean that since they know where they're going for the next 3 years or 3 seasons, is that the end?
Right. You would think so. And 9 seasons is a long run, especially for a horror show and an FX show, to be fair.
Right.
They only have a couple that really run that long. But yeah, I think I get it. Just found a little ballsy, especially, we see things like The Walking Dead going from being the best show on television to falling pretty hard.
Yeah.
Now, I hope that doesn't happen with American Horror Story. I hope that 9 or, those 3 seasons don't end up getting blocked. But hey, I'm glad they're confident.
Yeah.
If they're confident, that gives me a lot of confidence in the show, so I'm sure it'll be okay. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next topic, which is a weird one because it's technically an independent film here called Raw. Now, this film has been going across film festivals all across the world, getting a lot of praise. The Red Band trailer is recently released, and this movie is screwed up. Okay?
It really is.
Now, audiences have literally been getting sick and throwing up at these film festivals, and it's just... I could totally imagine why it's hard to watch, and I don't know, it seems they're taking a shocking step, and with that independent filmmaking on their back, they obviously have, an advantage of being able to do that.
Right.
But the synopsis is as reads: everyone in Justine's family is a vet and a vegetarian. At 16, she's a brilliant student, starting out at a veterinary school where she experiences a decadent, merciless, and dangerously seductive world. Desperate to fit in, she strays from her family principles and eats raw meat for the first time. Justine will soon face the terrible and unexpected consequences as her true self begins to merge. Now, I don't think that synopsis does any credit to the film. You watch a trailer, and I don't see any of that in there. It seems she gets in an accident of some sort, and it just seems like a really screwed up movie.
Now, if you look at the official IMDb page, the previous title for this was Grave. Yeah, that's a little scary. And even reading the storyline, when a young vegetarian undergoes a carnivorous hazing ritual at vet school, an unbidden taste for meat begins to grow in her. Okay, vegetarian, she gets a taste of meat. Not what we're thinking of. And I mean, just look at this picture, man. I believe in the trailer, what she's eating right there is an eyeball.
We see her eating a tongue. We see some nasty stuff. And it's actually not her eating stuff that bothers me. We see stuff like scissors heading up into her genitalia area. That kind of stuff is what cringes me, and this kind of stuff would be tough for me to watch.
Yeah, it's rated R for bloody and grisly images, nudity, language, partying. It's the list goes on. It's a hard R rating,
right?
And I mean, it looks. We're gonna check it out, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. It's making people sick for a reason,
right?
So if you're going in there like, oh well, I whatever. I don't like people that go into movies and like, oh, well, you guys got sick and you're a bunch of wieners for it. No, I totally understand. If you're getting sick for a movie like this, that totally makes sense. Yeah, some tough things to watch, and not just them eating humans. There's more to it than that, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, Raw looks interesting, and it's getting some praise at film festivals, so make sure you check it out. We're going to go ahead and move on, though, to something we've been talking about for a while, that is Cult of Chucky. Now, Cult of Chucky officially began shooting just last week, and so far so good, it looks like. We finally got a look. Obviously looks at Vincent and Dorf on set. Only 4 images released at this point, but they look like they're having a good time. They look like they're having an absolutely great time. These ones are great at seeing Dorf and Vincent together. Now, what is interesting about this picture here, notice the graveyard in the background. So if we're analyzing this here, I wonder where they're at. Wonder what they're doing. Huh? And why is Vincent there as well? Why is Andy there? What you should notice is that Fiona Dorff looks awful in all these images. Not her as a person, but her clearly in makeup to
Yeah.
make her look distressed as all hell. Let's actually let's go back to this image here. She's intentionally baggy-eyed and looks miserable and anxiety out the roof.
Yeah.
For sure. If you're keeping up with Cult of Chucky, make sure you keep following them on Instagram because they're posting pictures every day. I think 2 more came out today where we got a first look at Chucky's body, not his head, but his body itself. It comes out all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should definitely keep up with Cult of Chucky. It's good to see that they're moving forward with it,
Yeah.
and it does look interesting. So just so many questions are brought up now. I just want to know what the graveyard is. You know.
Maybe it's a ritual. It is a cult of Chucky. Maybe there's some ritual going on there.
You know, we never actually talked about that. Why is it called Cult of Chucky? Is it just a cliche title? Is that what they're doing?
CC, cult Chucky.
Right.
Or maybe it is to do with a cult that Chucky is.
Are we going to see Chucky
created?
finally take over another body? Are we going to see?
Maybe that's what's going on in this graveyard. Maybe he is. Maybe someone else is.
Yeah, there's no telling. I mean, it could be anything.
No matter what, it's looking very, very good.
It could be Vincent visiting a body, or maybe Fiona visiting her mom. Anything along those lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, very interesting so far. Keep up with their Instagram because they definitely got a lot going on there. Like I said, Chucky was just revealed today, so you should probably go check it out. With all that being said, though, we're going to wrap this baby up. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. And of course, make sure you go check out our Facebook at facebook.com/RJL Productions and head on over to our Twitter at twitter.com/RJL_Productions. And if you really want to keep up with us, head over to rjlproductions.net, look at that email notification list. It's right on the front page. Put your email in there, click notify me, and you can email every time we have a new video or new products added to the page. So many opportunities. You could be part of it.
Yeah.
With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.